Okay, welcome back to Chapter 4, Part 2 of the Fertile Crescent. Civilization in Sumer. Sumer became the first large area of farming villages in Mesopotamia. Find Sumer on the map on page 25. So we go back to the map, maybe, and we're looking at the key. Right here is Sumer. So we're looking for that symbol, which is actually right here. So that is where the area was. The people of Sumer, called the Sumerians, created the first civilization in Mesopotamia about 5,000 years ago. One of the most important steps made by this civilization was the invention of a written language. Writing was invented probably to meet people's needs for keeping records and lists. The Sumerians came up with a way to keep track of what they bought and sold. Little by little, a complete system of writing was invented in Sumer. It was called cuneiform. Excuse me. We're going to highlight cuneiform, and the definition is a complete system of writing. So the Sumerians first used writing to keep records and lists. So down here it says create your own writing system. Show some characters below. So I kind of came up with my own thing just to give you an example. Okay, so I spelled out the word school. So we got SCHOOL. And so up here, when I put it together, that spells school. So that is my invention. So I want you to think about it at home and maybe practice coming up with your own. And feel free to send it to me for bonus points. Okay, the civilization of Sumer reached its high point about 4,000 years ago. The Sumerians had learned how to irrigate their crops. This means they built ditches and canals to bring water from the rivers to dry land. So the next word is irrigate, and it means build ditches and canals to bring water from the rivers to dry land. They lived in large walled cities. At the center of each city was a temple called a ziggurat. A temple is a building where people pray to a god or gods. Here the Sumerians prayed to their gods and goddesses for good crops. So I highlighted temple, which is called a ziggurat, and a temple is a building where people pray to a god or gods. In time, ideas from Sumer began spreading. Traders came and went from the cities of Sumer. When they traveled, these traders took with them the knowledge of Sumer's inventions. The Babylonians. About 3,000 years ago, new groups of people began moving into Mesopotamia. One of the largest and most powerful of these groups were the Babylonians. These people were named for Babylon, the city they built in Mesopotamia. So, we're going to look at the map on page 25. So, what direction is Babylon from the city of Ur in Sumer? So, there is Ur, and here is Babylon. So, we're going kind of northwest. Okay, under a king named Hammurabi, the Babylonians conquered or defeated the Sumerians. So conquered is our next word, and that means to defeat. They ruled all of Mesopotamia, but the Babylonians learned a lot from the Sumerians. The Babylonians built large farms and ziggurats and wrote in cuneiform. Hammurabi's laws. Hammurabi was not only a powerful warrior, he also developed a set of laws to help rule his kingdom. Hammurabi collected laws from all over Mesopotamia. He chose the ones he thought were fair. These laws had to do with land, money, business, and family life. The main idea behind Hammurabi's laws was that strong people should not hurt weak people. The Hebrews. The Hebrews were another group of people who originally lived in Mesopotamia. A great Hebrew leader named Abraham led the Hebrews from Sumer into the land of Canaan. This land now lies in Israel and Lebanon. The Hebrews lived in Canaan for many years. Then a drought, a long period of time without rain, began to kill their crops. I'm going to highlight drought, and this is a long period of time without rain. The Hebrews then went to Egypt, a country you will read about in the next chapter. The Hebrews were turned into slaves by the Egyptians. A slave is someone who is owned by another person. So I'm highlighting the word slave, and a slave is someone who is owned by another person. In time, a great Hebrew leader named Moses led the Hebrews back to Canaan. So we're going to skip that question and we'll answer it later. The Ten Commandments. In Mesopotamia and Egypt, most people believed in many gods. The Hebrews, however, believed in only one God. The belief in one God is called monotheism. So that is monotheism in the belief in one God. Today we call the religion of the ancient Hebrews Judaism. So Judaism is the religion of the ancient Hebrews. People who follow Judaism are called Jews. According to the holy writing of Judaism, it was God who told Moses to lead the Hebrews out of Egypt and across the desert to Canaan. This journey was called the Exodus, which means departure. So Exodus, departure. The Hebrews followed laws during the Exodus. The most important of these laws were the Ten Commandments. Several religions believe that God gave the Ten Commandments to Moses while the Hebrews were in the desert. The Ten Commandments became the most important of all Hebrew laws. They taught people to honor their parents and to love one another. They do not allow people to lie, steal, cheat, or kill. So, in what ways are the Ten Commandments similar to laws that we have today? Just think about that and we will answer it at the end of the chapter. So, that is it for the chapter.